All right. A glorious remake of a 1994 Gary Valenciano classic with SB19. Now, this we gotta watch together and we gotta talk about it. Hey guys, and welcome to my channel once again. And welcome to Let's Talk About It. I'm very excited about what I have lined up for you guys today. I know that in my previous video, I mentioned that I wanted to talk about a different subject. That was about one of the episodes of the Time First podcast by SB19. However, I still intend on making that video, but that is not going to be the topic of today's video. This is going to be about a song that I just came across on YouTube 6 days ago. So 6 days ago, Mr. Gary Valenciano himself on his account here on YouTube shared a clip of a performance from his December 2024 concert. And this was a remake of his 1994 classic hit, Babalik Ka Rin. Translated into English, it means you'll be back, or you'll come back, or you'll come back home. But yes, you'll be back, just to simplify it, because it can mean different, it can be translated into many different ways, is what I'm saying. But simple translation of Babalik Ka Rin is you'll be back, or you'll come back. So in 1994, Mr. Gary Valenciano wrote and performed and released that song, and that was even featured or used for a duty-free Philippines ad during that time. So in his December 2024 concert, so 30 years after he first released that song, he performed that song again. But this time, it was with SB19. And he did made that whole introduction before performing that song that he and SB19 together collaborated on kind of like not just performing it again for the audience, but kind of like tweaking some of, I think, some of the words, rewrote it a little bit for probably to adapt to the times of today and to the audience of today. But it was so beautiful. It was so glorious that I probably must have replayed it like at least 10 times during that moment. And that was like 6 days ago. So I realized I just have to talk about that video today, right here, right now. So let's watch it together and let's talk about it, okay?
Iniba namin ng konti para lang sa inyong mga nanggaling sa ibang bansa, sa iba't ibang parte ng mundo to spend Christmas here. Are you familiar with a group known as SB19? Are you proud of SB19?
Of course!
I heard you. Eto. Para sa inyong lahat.
It's so beautiful, guys. It's so beautiful.
Because we believe, together with SB19, there is every reason to be proud of every Pinoy that is here tonight. Ka man naroroon ngayon, Saudi, Japan o Hong Kong, babalik ka rin, babalik ka rin, babalik ka rin. Ano mang layo ang narating, Singapore, Australia, Europe, at babalik at babalik ka rin. Kay tagal mo nang nawala, babalik ka rin, babalik ka rin. Kay tagal mo nang nawala, babalik ka rin, babalik ka rin. Sa piling
Okay, I just gotta say that we have to learn all that hand gestures, okay? We just gotta learn that. Just saying.
pinagmulan sa iyong nakaraan. Babalik ka rin, babalik ka rin, babalik ka rin. Ang layo ang narating, iyong maalala mga dati mong kasama. Babalik at babalik ka rin. Kahit tagal mo na nawala, babalik ka rin, babalik ka rin. Kahit tagal mo na nawala, babalik ka rin, babalik ka rin. Sa nakalipas na panahon, sa iyong kahapon, sa alaala, maghihilang sa inyo. Ilang taon na nga bang nagdaan? Dekada na ba magmula nung makipagsapalaran at di ng bilang? Sa aking daliri ang mga nalagpas ang alaala. Sama-sana ang pamilyang pinitaw.
Kahit hirap malayo, gawin na hindi gusto, lisanin na nagsisilbing tahanan ng aking puso.
Parang sa aking mga minamahal, walang hindi kayang gawin kung may lakas ako'y magpapagal. Di mapapantayan na kahit ano mang pakikaranggaan.
Yakap ng mga mahal,
Aasang babalik ka.
Kay tagal mo nang nawala, babalik ka rin, babalik ka rin. Kay tagal mo nang nawala, babalik ka rin, babalik at babalik ka rin, at babalik ka rin, at babalik ka rin.
Wow.
Babalik ka rin.
Wow, wow. It was so beautiful. Wasn't that beautiful? It was perfection. It was perfection. I did not want to interrupt it much. If you noticed, I was so tempted to say, something in between, like inject my thoughts, but I just didn't want to interrupt the song. It was so beautiful. And I want you guys to just fully enjoy it and be immersed in the experience. So yeah, that was very, like I said, the word I used was glorious. It was spectacular. It was beyond amazing. So just a little bit of a background. I know I already gave you, some background into the song, but also when it first came out, because I remember that time when it first came out in 1994, it was really a big deal because it was a tribute to the Filipino overseas workers, people who have left their families to work in other countries outside of the Philippines to give their families a better chance at, a better life, a better future, right? So it was a big deal because it really spoke of the that longing to be with your family, whether it's from the perspective of the Filipino who left or from the perspective of the family that was left behind in the Philippines. But either way, it spoke about that longing to see them come home again, or the longing to go home again and be with your loved ones. But there was that sacrifice, that had to be made, because back then it was very hard to find the opportunities that we now know are available to a lot of us. Back then it was a huge struggle. If you did not graduate from, let's just say, the state university or from any of the prestigious schools in the Philippines, it was a lot harder as well to land a high paying job from a good company that will really take care of you and will really compensate you for your hard work. So a lot of the Filipino workers would just resort to applying for a job abroad. And I know that for a fact because for a brief amount of time when I was in the Philippines, when I was much, much younger, I worked as a musician as well. And I worked in a band. And there was a time when we were deployed to perform in another country. And the pay that was given to us, per our contract back then was, yeah, I would just say more than five times what we were getting from performing in the Philippines. So yeah, a lot of the families would sacrifice being together, staying together for the possibility of having a brighter future. It was a topic that was talked about a lot during those times because more and more Filipinos were accepting jobs or applying for a job outside of the Philippines. But there was the flip side of that whole situation, right? So, yes, you get a better pay. So, you now can give a better future to your families. But on the flip side, there's also the reality that you don't get to spend time with them physically. You don't get to watch your children grow up. You miss out on a lot of things. You miss out on, like I said, the in-person time with them. You miss out on the family get-togethers and all that. You miss out on being able to hug your kids or hug your parents, kiss them, and all that. And also back then the technology was not as advanced as it is now. So back then I remember when it was me on based on my own experience, I would have to buy call cards, the ones that you prepay, and then based on how much money you put into that card, that's how much time you get to speak to your family members on the phone, things like that. So many hurdles surround that. I think Gary Valenciano and SB19 working together on doing this remake really tugs at my heartstrings, because not only does it bring back fond memories, but also kind of like highlights that message once again for me that there's no place like home, no matter where you are. Like me, I'm in the US, and US is my home now. It's my home now. I've really considered this as my home away from home. But it will forever remain a fact that I was born and raised in the Philippines. And so that was my motherland. And so my heart will also forever be connected to the Philippines and the Filipino people, our culture. I will not lose that. My heart and loyalty probably will be split between the two, my motherland, the country that where I was born in, and the country that is now taking care of me, nurturing me, and has given me the second chance at life, which is the US. So there will always be that desire to come home to the motherland, right? And that's a part of you. I'm just not talking about myself. I'm sure this is true for everyone else who has left his or her motherland to go and find, establish a better future, a better life elsewhere, in another country. I'm sure this is true for all of us, that there will always be that pull to come home to the motherland, right? Unless you really don't have any other family left behind in that country, there will always be a reason for us to go back to the motherland. And so it's just very timely that this song was shared by Mr. Gary Valenciano, and also very timely that he chose SB19 to collaborate with, in rewriting that remake version, because number one, SB19 is is the hottest P-pop group. They are the kings of P-pop right now, and I believe they're the best, boy group, boy band. So I'm very grateful that they thought about doing this and that they shared it with us. Thank you so much, Mr. Gary Valenciano, for sharing this masterpiece with us, for choosing to revive this classic once again and share it with the new generation. Thank you so much for your genius, pretty much, because you wrote and you performed this song, but also thank you for making it even more beautiful. I mean, I couldn't have known that it possibly could still be more beautiful than it already was, but because you have brought in SB19, I would say yes, thank you so much. Thank you. I know each and every 18 in the whole wide world is very thankful right now to you. So thank you so much. In another video, we'll give you an update on that camera that I just bought for the SB19 concert. I still have not gotten around testing it because I don't have my proper SD card for it yet. And also to share with you what I have created, that I intend to share with some of the 18s here, for their July concert here in California. Then yes, I want to share more details about that, but it has not been delivered yet. Very soon. The delivery date is actually today, but it hasn't been actually delivered at my doorstep yet, but I will keep you posted. So watch out for that. Thank you so much for joining me. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Whatever you guys feel like doing, I would be grateful nonetheless. Thank you, and see you again soon.